What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Triple H podcast. Thanksgiving has passed, but the NBA is still here. The three of us are still here: Steve, Jake, and myself, here to talk hoops once again. If you're watching live, it's a little late one for the boys, and we're just excited to be here, though, guys. How we doing, man?
Oh, we're doing, man. We're doing it. We came off one of the best holidays ever. Thanksgiving needs the respect it deserves. Had a lot of good food, watched a lot of good games, and basketball's really getting in the swing of it. We're getting to the point now, right, where we're about a quarter of the way, almost quarter of the way through the season. We're starting to see these real identities, these teams. Some pretenders are showing their pretenders. Some contenders are popping up that we didn't expect. There's a few surprise teams, and the games have been great, and I gotta say, like, hand up, I was doubting the in-season tournament a little bit, and I've been locked into it. It's been a really fun watch, and I'm actually really looking forward to this single elimination style or format we are going to see. That the NBA and single elimination is going to be wild. I really hope the teams, and I think they will, play like they're playing for a championship in these single elimination games, because I'll tell you what, despite a few teams, the Mavs playing terrible in group play, I'm really, really happy with the final 8 teams we have. I'm really happy with the 8 teams.
Yeah, I love it, man. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the in-season tournament today. Jake, I know you were just saying before we hopped on, you've been loving every second of this, man. The only times I had doubt is just like at the beginning, just like trying to fully understand what was actually happening. But Jake, I liked what you said. Like, it's nice, like, knowing the specific nights of the in-season tournament. Like, we had that clarity. Once you had that clarity, I feel like it was easy to dive into.
I've long said Tuesday is the worst day of the week, and our Mondays are not as bad as Tuesdays to me.
Yes.
Tuesday, it's just like, damn, it's another Monday. It feels like, but having the Tuesday and Friday games and just knowing, like, for this first month, like, okay, these games are happening on these days, and like the stakes are higher. And I feel like, just watching, like, we've watched so much basketball in our life this year, anything else, like, you could tell, like, that there was just a little bit something extra in all these games. Like, everyone's like, what are these players going to do? Are they really going to be competitive? Everything. Yeah. Like, everybody was balling out. And then you have teams running up the score, and you got Billy Donovan freaking out at Joe Mazzulla for trying to run up the score and everything else. And, there's opinions on both sides on whether that's good for the game, bad for the game, everything else. But I just think, like, having this little wrinkle in the season, and we've been sitting here, and it's basically been the main topic of conversation for NBA basketball for November, and that's what it was supposed to do. Like, it was just supposed to be like a time where no one's checking into the NBA. Like, casual fans are like, oh, it's just November NBA, like, no one's playing, blah, blah. Like, that has just not been the case, even though it hasn't been every night of tournament games. Like, you have to, it's been a thing to follow along. And like you just said, Steve, single elimination bracket NBA basketball sounds crazy. Nuts. That's going to be insane. And we have some great matchups just in this first round, but potentially in the semifinals and the finals, like, these could be all-time regular season NBA games. Like, that's the thing too, is like, how many NBA games, like, do you remember personally in your head from the regular season? Like, there's probably a handful that we could bring up on our minds, but a lot of us go to the playoffs for our big, like, moments in the NBA games. I'm thinking of, like, the Heat when they played the Bulls and they extended the streak, or the Curry shot against the Thunder, like the games like that are big games. This is games that the finals of this tournament, what if it's a Lakers Celtics finals, right? In the final in-season tournament, like, that's going to be amazing.
Adam Silver would start floating if that's the final.
And that's the thing, right? I think a lot of the pushback when this was first originally announced is like, are the players really going to care? Are the teams really going to care? This feels like it's a money grab. And at first I agreed with it, but we got to think, fellas, at the end of the day, we're talking about world-class superstar athletes that just want to compete. Want to compete. And now we're in the final 8, and it's like all they want to do is win this first tournament. They want to win. I don't care. You can throw out all the plans, whatever. Once we got here to this single elimination format, I'll tell you right now, all the players, the coaches, they just want to win. So I think we're going to see some type of almost like playoff like rotations in the lineups. The stars are going to play big minutes, and these games are going to give you almost that college basketball March Madness feel, where it's like, It doesn't matter if you're having a cold shooting night. You better snap out of it because you don't have a 7-game series like you do in every NBA playoff series. This is do or die one game. So it's like, you know what? They are going to play their superstars and they're going to try. And I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what that single elimination style is going to be like in the NBA.
Yeah. And like the fact that the NBA, I think, ultimately ended up doing a great job marketing this. And, you know, if you want to say you don't like the courts, because most of us don't like most of the courts and most of the jerseys, I did come across this today and I thought it was just so funny. Like Adam Silver, you know, whether it was on purpose or not, it ended up being kind of genius because this was the headline of a CNN article that I saw today. The NBA in-season tournament running this year for the first time is the league's idea for that mid-season boost. And it says the NBA has hideous new courts people are tuning in to watch. and that's just two facts about the NBA in-season tournament, that hideous courts and people are tuning in to watch. It's making so much buzz that even CNN had to write an article about it, and I just think it's hilarious. That's
a great point though, because the courts they need to change. I don't understand the stripe down the middle. They could just do the arcs or something like that. But it has been nice because, like we talked about, like the Tuesdays and Fridays, you know, the games are happening. When you see these stupid ass courts, you know the game has some different meaning to it too. So I think it's achieved that. It's just like, why? I don't understand the line. I'm not a designer, I guess. I just don't get what the fuck that big ass line through the middle was for anyone.
Yeah. I don't get why some of the courts have to be so like dark colored. Like, as someone who is colorblind, when one team's wearing, you know, their dark colored jerseys and you're playing on a dark colored court, it's tough. Yeah. It's tough to watch. It's tough to see the guys.
I think that's the worst part. I think the jerseys matched with the courts is what's making it bad.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Obviously, I know the courts, like when you see it, it's like this is a game. This is an in-season tournament game. But some of them, it's like you don't need to make the colors as vibrant as they have.
Bro, the Philly court. I was sitting I'm watching at the bar. I'm watching at the bar last week. And so it's a big ass, we're on a big ass projection screen that's just red, just blowing in my face. I'm like, what is happening here? Like, take this off. Like, I'd rather just be on a small like monitor or something because this is abrasive. It's crazy.
Yeah, so that was probably the longest tease you'll get from us, because we're gonna rip through the news and notes, but we're gonna get right into the knockout rounds of the in-season tournament. I do have a little bit more to say about the courts because I had the pleasure of experiencing the Celtics court in person the other night. So that's another little tease there. But yes, news and notes, we got to get to it. LaMelo Ball with a bad sprained ankle, expected to miss extended time, was the report from Woj, which just absolutely sucks. We were talking right before we got on here. LaMelo has been balling this season, really the only bright spot to the Hornets season and franchise at this point is what it's looking like. So this just sucks. I mean, for multiple reasons. How long do you guys think LaMelo stays in Charlotte for?
I don't think he's there much longer. I mean, because it's also too like his performance on the court, right? It's Charlotte's not in a position to want to build around this guy. I don't think they can if he can't stay healthy. He hasn't been able to stay healthy, but also like when he's healthy, he plays like a superstar, and we know. You know, I don't think LaMelo Ball is going to be in Charlotte his entire career. I think LaMelo Ball is more of a bigger city kind of guy, brighter lights. And I don't think LaMelo Ball wants to, you know, have his career being built around playing with a guy who I don't know should be in the league right now as the second best member on the Charlotte Hornets. And then after that, what do you got? Terry Rozier, how many years he's got left? I love Mark Williams, but, you know, he's not a number two option on offense. Brandon Miller, it's been a tough start too. And it's just one of those where it's like Charlotte's also not in a position to have a guy like this. Charlotte's got to completely blow it up. But they won't because it's Charlotte. But I think the injuries too with LaMelo, who knows how long he'll be out this time, but it's tough
I
because
know it sucks, man.
we saw him play so well for about 3 weeks stretch. I think he was at a point, I think he's averaging like 25, 5 and 8 right now, but he was having a stretch where he was averaging like 38 and 8 for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And he was just carrying this team.
This is his 4 games before the game where he suffered the injury. So, we're not going to count his stats in that game, but 37 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, 34 points, 9 assists, 5 rebounds, 36 points, 8 assists, 9 rebounds. That was an overtime win against the Boston Celtics. 34 points, 13 assists, 8 rebounds. So, I mean, he was, one of the best. He's on one of the best, just sole player hot streaks in the NBA at that time. So, yeah, it sucks for LaMelo. Who knows about the Hornets, man? I mean, I think the Hornets are playing right now. I can't even imagine watching a Hornets game without LaMelo being in it, but there are
Mark Williams walking double-double.
They're actually somehow up 73-71 at the half on Brooklyn right now. So
a lot of defense in that game.
I know 73-71 at the half is crazy.
It's a high scoring game.
Hopefully you guys have
meanwhile the Cavs are 2 minutes left in the third and have 70 points against the Trailblazers at home. 70-64
against the Trailblazers. They're still not even at 100 pace.
Don't get me started on the Cavs. And then we
don't have to talk about.
There's some fun basketball. There's some fun basketball going on around. That's the main thing. It's sad to see about LaMelo. I think he's definitely a guy that we look into the offseason as we always talk about. Who do we think the next guy that's going to want out is, and one of the trade candidates? Because there's always a star that decides they want out. He feels like a guy that should want out. It's not even it's not. There's no reason behind it. He's not going anywhere with this team, and he deserves so much better. This is a great point. The Ball family injuries, man. It's because of the damn shoes that they had to wear for 4 years that were terrible. It's the big baller brand shoes. They all got out of them. It's tough. It's tough to see.
It's tough, too. The timing of both of them. When Lonzo started to show, he's really going to take that next step. Injury. LaMelo Ball, any time he starts going on a rapid hot streak, injury. It's just brutal because, the balls were kind of, I don't even want to say a meme or anything, but, with LeVar Ball, everyone these guys are actually really good basketball players, and they are.
Yeah. Yes.
They really are. And LaMelo was turning into a superstar. He just can't stay on the court.
Yeah.
It's tough to see. Because I'll be honest, I was wrong about LaMelo. I did not think he'd be this type of impactful player on the court, and he really has been. Like I said, he's been incredible in all aspects: playmaking, shooting, physicality. This guy he's just got to stay healthy, and I don't think anyone wants to rush him back in Charlotte.
As a bit of a segue to our next topic, don't you think the Golden State Warriors would have wished they just took LaMelo Ball there?
Oh. Yeah,
because I feel like it's a whole different scenario.
Who'd they take again? That guy from Memphis can barely get on the court right now on the Pistons, Mr. James Wiseman.
He can't get on the court for the Pistons. They're going to win 10 games this year. It's crazy.
I can't believe how bad they still are. I really.
Bro, I feel so bad for Cade the other day where he's just we're a bad team, all this other stuff, and then they can't even get up for a game against the Wizards. I don't know about you guys, I was locked in for Wizards Pistons because I'm I need to just see what's going on here. Who is going to be this bad? And the Pistons are another tier of bad under the Wizards, and we've seen the stat. I think did you guys see the stat about how Poole and Kuzma are the worst duo in the worst league, negative 32 points differential.
Poole. Now I understand why the Warriors got rid of Poole for what they got rid of him for. I've watched Poole maybe 5 times. It's the biggest headache to watch. And I know you were saying you watched the Wizards Pistons game, Jake.
Yeah.
What Poole tried to pull in Asor Thompson, just blocking him out of bounds, was one of the greatest things. It's dude, just go up for the normal layup.
He's got the yips.
Why are you trying to show up when you're on the Wizards? And he's done that in almost every game this year. He's trying to make highlight reel plays. It's and he'll airball this fadeaway 3, side shots. Poole, you're not that guy. I don't want to bring back that from a year ago, but you're not that guy, pal. Jordan Poole isn't that guy, and he's still trying to be him. It's dude, it makes sense why you're coming off the bench your entire career on the Warriors, because they made you look a lot better than you do by yourself on the Wizards. a lot better.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I had a tweet the other day and I was just like, I can't believe Jordan Poole was like a big part of the reason the Warriors beat the Celtics in the finals. Like I just
It's fucking nuts.
like how I don't. It's
I know.
that's such a tough pill to swallow, man. Like just watching him now in a Wizards uniform, it's like that doesn't seem real. But
He's broken. I think we talked about 2K about trying to rebuild the Wizards one time and just how we didn't even want to touch it. And I was like, I'll still do that. No, I don't want to do that. It's impossible.
you don't.
I don't know who the hell or what you're doing at that point, but it's tough times in Washington and Detroit. But we were talking about the Warriors, who it's also tough times for. Klay Thompson's frustrated. Charles
had some words the other night on
he did.
TNT. He said they were cooked and they are certainly not a contender. I mean, he was basically, I don't know if I'm ready to say that for this year yet, just because I tried that the last couple of years and they proved me wrong. But yeah, he's just basically saying, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, they are not who they were a few years ago, and he was like, Steph can only carry them so far. That's the part that worries me. It's like Steph can carry them as far as Steph wants to, but obviously it is a lot for them. Chris Paul with a lower leg nerve contusion, whatever that means, he's out for tonight's game. If you're listening live Thursday night. And it's just like, I don't know if this Warriors team can afford Chris Paul injury, which is crazy because I didn't know how much Chris Paul was going to move the needle for this team. But the way they look this year is they're going to need, every contribution they're getting from this roster.
Yeah.
You know what concerned me the most about this team right now? And it's a lot of issues going on. And Klay Thompson's one of the biggest issues. He's just, whatever resurgence he had, he's annoying and he just hasn't been delivering at all. Like he's not backing it up at all. And you have the other day where Moody was having an incredible game and they take him off the floor for Klay and then they lose that game. And Steve Kerr after is like, oh, we just wanted to go with the vets in Klay. And you can clearly see there is issues going on behind the scenes that Klay is just like, I need to be on the floor. He's not the best basketball.
Draymond
right
too.
And that's
Draymond too.
100%. And Draymond's,
not playing well.
Tackling Rudy Gobert and doing this normal antics that he has. These are two guys that are actively hurting your team and you're not willing to do what you need to do and take them off the floor, because being a head coach in the NBA is as much managing egos as it is anything else. I don't think Steve Kerr is doing a good job of it. These guys shouldn't be playing. And whether you don't want to deal with a Moody or whatever else and their growing pains, that is the best chance to win right now. Those guys are playing better basketball. When you watch the games, you're like, why are these guys not getting more minutes? You see, Klay is not – he's a shell of himself, of what he used to be. It's so sad to see, but it's true.
It is.
I have to rant about Klay for a second, man, because this, for me, started a couple years ago. And granted, the beginning of it was complete bias. It was against the Celtics in the finals when he was crying about the fans at the TD Garden and, just kind of making a mockery of Boston fans. And, it was just so ironic because he was calling fans babies, and all he's been doing since that moment, since I've seen, is every press conference where a game didn't go his way or the Warriors are in a slump, he just can't help but bitch to the media. And the other night was just so crazy because it was exactly what you were talking about, Jake. He asked a reporter who was in the middle of his question, he was like, "You want me to bench me?" And then he was like, "No, that's okay. You can say that if you want to." And he goes, he said, "Thanks, Steve." Talking about Steve Kerr. And he's like, "Sometimes you earn these things like patience and time to find yourself. I think history is on our side when it comes to that stuff." Yes, everyone agrees with that, man. Sometimes, just like last year as an example, you let the Warriors get into their groove and they usually come out on top. But for you to come into the season and claim that this was going to be your best season yet, and this is what you're giving us, and then you have the audacity to say this stuff to the media and try to clown a reporter, and then at the end of all of it, it's so picture perfect. He says, "I don't care what people say, man." Oh, you don't? You just
clearly do.
You just went back and forth with the reporter, dude, about it. Oh man, it's just the comments after the game are becoming tougher to watch than him on the court. And if he just never said that this was going to be his best season yet, which I think all of us didn't believe that,
Right.
you wouldn't have to dig yourself out of this hole and be as insecure as he's being. It's a bad look for him. It's a bad look for the Warriors as a whole. Steve Kerr's kind of been whining more than usual this season, and I get it. You know, there's obviously frustration when you lose, but it's just becoming very corny trying to watch and understand the Warriors at this stage.
It's crazy because you watch some games and you're like, I think the second best player in the Warriors tonight is Dario Saric. Like, I think he's the second best player right now. Like, and it's
That's
not
crazy.
You watch the games, it's like he's the one who's playing the second, like best. Like Wiggins has kind of disappeared. Clay's averaging 15, shooting 36% from 3-point range. Like, that's not Klay Thompson. That's not what Klay Thompson does. Like, that's not what you. And it's just, and the defense too, Dunny, has just been like it's fallen off a cliff. And we saw signs of this previous year. Klay can't guard anyone. You know, I would sacrifice the offensive stats, you know, going down a little bit, regressing a little bit, you know, with age. He's dealt with injuries fine. It's like he's not even putting in any effort on the defensive side of the ball. And it's just like, this is a guy who used to be one of those, you know, great on-ball defenders. And now it's like he's a liability on the court. And we said this, Chris Paul didn't feel like it would fit too well. And I'm not really going to blame Chris Paul. I think Chris Paul's played fine. But I just think the Warriors hold as a team. We just don't have like a staple five, like starting five, or this is the lineup we want to run at the end of the game. It's like, all right, this guy's playing well. We'll give him some extra run. Like I thought Kuminga has had some bright spots so far this year. And then
it just can't get worse. Like
is that actually true? Wiggins slammed his hand at a car door out tonight. Oh my god!
What is up with
this team's in shambles?
Did you guys see Did you guys see the reports too that there's frustrations within the Warriors organization that Wiggins hasn't been in basketball shape since he took that personal leave of absence that is still undisclosed.
Yeah,
still undisclosed the reasons. You know, the Warriors were very patient. They kind of protected his privacy too, and now people are saying he hasn't been in shape since those times, which I mean that's a huge concern, and
big concern
for players or whoever to leak that to the media. I mean, it just goes to show that there's not much good going on in the Bay Area right now. It's sad, man. I mean, that's the state of the Warriors. I'm sure, you know, this could be subject to change.
Look at Dunny's grin, Jake. You can see his grin. The audio listeners can't see
what
him.
Grin?
He's got that evil smile. Oh, man, the Warriors downfall. It's such a shame, bad for basketball.
Hey, Charles Barkley has been wrong before, man. He could be wrong about the Warriors being cooked. I'm not ready to say it yet, but it's dark time.
I'm ready to say it. I'm ready to say it. That team is not
better. To say it before the year started. I think this is the year of the downfall. We said this.
We were honest.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I saw, like, I didn't think they were gonna, you know, look like they did a few years ago or even last year, but I didn't know it would be this bad this quick.
Yeah.
And it's not fun. But a team that could not be more opposite of the Golden State Warriors, who Steve requested to talk about, and it was an oversight that I didn't put these guys in the notes, especially because the Celtics' only in-season tournament loss was to this team, the Orlando Magic, the hottest team in the NBA, 8 straight wins, 8 straight wins, second seed in the Eastern Conference, second seed in the Eastern Conference.
Look at these teams they're beating. They beat the Nuggets and the Celtics on back-to-back games. I mean, they beat the Pacers, who have looked good this year. They beat the Bulls, who JBC, you know, one of our great listeners calls is going to win the Eastern Conference. So that's got to be a good win. But this Orlando Magic team, winners of 8 straight. And I will say this first before I go into anything about the actual team. If you are not following the Orlando Magic socials, you need to be following them right now. They are phenomenal. They might be performing as well as the team is. But this is incredible because this is a team we talked about a year ago had the first overall pick, took Paolo Banchero. Paolo Banchero has one of the best rookie seasons probably since LeBron, but no one really talked about it because it was Paolo Banchero on the Orlando Magic. And now it's like they just got a group of guys. The Orlando Magic have kind of the same thing the Warriors have, but the positive side, right? The Warriors have a bunch of guys, they don't really know how to work them around because it's like, oh, we have to give Clay minutes. We have to give Draymond minutes. No, these guys are earning their minutes on the Magic. You got obviously Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero, who are the probably top two guys on this team. But Cole Anthony's playing well. Jalen Suggs is finally looking like the Jalen Suggs that the Magic drafted.
You see them do the LeBron Wade dunk last night?
Yeah, dude. Yes. Yes, dude. I mean, and this is also Fultz and Wendell Carter have been hurt for this too. These are also two guys who will get big minutes, regular pieces. I mean, Mo Wagner, Franz's brother, is playing well. You got Goga Batadze, who's been playing well as well. Like the Magic just have a bunch of guys. The moment Cole Anthony is absolutely having a season.
He heard all the talks from the summer that was like, if there's somebody that's getting out, Cole's out, and he took that to heart because he has been balling.
But what like impresses me the most about this is a team that's playing like a team. I think Banchero's their leading scorer. He's only averaging 20 a game. Like you don't have a guy taking over every single night. Obviously, Banchero's your best player. Franz Wagner's probably second best. But it's not like they are taking over every night. It's just like a new guy wants to step up each time. And it's been fun basketball to watch because they're playing like a team. You look at Orlando Magic box scores. You look at the starters. It feels like almost every night, every starter's got like 3+ assists, which in today's day in the NBA, that's wildly impressive. Yeah. And this is just a team that's playing like a team, playing team basketball. And when you have a young core like this that's learning and growing together, it's scary. And I thought they'd improve this year. But the fact that they're, right, like we said, a quarter of the way through the NBA season, they're second in the Eastern Conference. And they beat the Celtics. They beat the Nuggets. It wasn't like, oh, the Magic survived. No, they beat the Celtics. Like they were winning the majority against the Nuggets. Like this is a good basketball team that's playing up to their competition. I'm really impressed. How it will sustain, we'll see. But the Magic have to be taken seriously right now. And I don't think any of us thought we were going to be having this conversation this early in this season.
No, man, it's cool to see. I mean, I think you could kind of see this starting to happen last year. I mean, not this. No one expected this. You kind of assumed it was like, okay, the Magic, like maybe they're a 7-8 seed this year. And they started to make some noise, and they got young guys. So this is just like the future is bright for the Magic. No, the Magic are here now, man.
Yeah,
and it'll be interesting to see. You know, you brought up the Pacers too, and we've already given the Pacers a bunch of love this year, and we're going to talk about it more because we're going to be talking about the knockout rounds of the in-season tournament. But I mean, you talk about like it'll be so fun to watch. Like, where will the Magic and Indiana Pacers end up in the playoff race at the end?
Could you imagine if they were a first round like playoff series?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, bro. Also, too, I know I give the Pacers love every episode. Tyrese Haliburton has 28 points at halftime.
Yeah,
we're talking about one of the best playmakers in the NBA. It's now like I'm scoring 30 every night.
I've been thinking about this. I need to go back and pull like all of our clips from the last year because everybody's jumping on this Haliburton bandwagon now, and we
can't take him. Nah,
yeah, we've been on.
We've been Haliburton stands, man.
Since he got drafted, I remember vividly. How is he dropping from the draft episode? So yeah, we need to own that. We need to own the Haliburton stock because it's
unbelievable
great.
How good he is now. 28 points at half.
And it's usually not the scoring. Like it's usually it is the scoring, but the playmaking.
But he's scoring, but he still gets 10, 12 assists a night.
He's
just like, I'm just going to score 30 plus a game. I'm going to hit 6 threes every night. He's just doing it.
That's crazy.
And I was watching that Heat Pacers game before we hopped on here, and the Pacers opened the game on a 15-4 run and caused Spoelstra to call a timeout. It's just like that's just who they are this year,
They're
man.
So much fun to watch.
Super fun, just like the Magic, who we were just talking about. And yeah, we're going to be talking about the Pacers again here because let's get into the knockout rounds, the in-season tournament. We're starting the Western Conference. It's crazy, man. Like Lakers, Suns, the number 1, number 4 matchup. And this, We get LeBron and KD going against each other for a meaningful, more than meaningful regular season game. Going into the season, we hadn't seen them face off for 5 years, 6 years, whatever it was, and now we get this crazy tournament style game that we have no idea what to expect. Single elimination, like Steve said at the top, and it's KD, it's LeBron, not to mention all the other stars that they share the court with. I mean, it's going to be great. And then, the other matchup in the West, how about the Kings and the Pelicans, who have also been two great teams to watch here?
They had one of the most fun games I've watched all year a couple weeks ago. They're just flying up and down the court. Zion and Ingram have both been like fun in spurts, but the Kings have just been so much fun to watch. Like you said, you mentioned that Warriors game earlier. That game, again, the other night was like thrilling the whole time. And you knew the stakes at hand too, but like just the high level of this Kings team to see where they were last year. Be like, are they going to be able to do this again? Like, can they really follow up on this? And yes, they can. They are a force.
And from the Pelicans side too, you get McCollum back, right? He played the other night. They get McCollum back. Trey Murphy might be back from this game. So we might have the full Pelicans team where you're going to see, Ingram, Zion, McCollum, Herb Jones, Jonas Valanciunas, and then Trey Murphy is the sixth man. And I'm telling you, I think these teams, maybe they won't, give Murphy his full role right away because it's first game back. But either or, this is single elimination. These guys are going to play. And on the first matchup, Lakers Suns, I gotta say, is the college basketball fan in me. This is what all the college basketball fans wanted. You just want to see KD and LeBron in a single game elimination. This is so cool. Where I'm like, yeah, we've seen the playoff series of KD versus Bron, but it's only fitting that the first in season tournament we have KD versus Bron in a single elimination game, two of probably the greatest players we've ever watched play basketball, especially of our generation. That is, you couldn't write a better script.
This is like a couple years ago when it was Wichita State and Kentucky in the second round, and everybody was like, we need this game. We need this to happen. And then we got it. That's what this feels like.
You give me KD, LeBron first round, sign me up.
Yeah, man.
What do you... I have a kind of a weird take, and I think this game's still going to be crazy competitive. I'm so excited to see LeBron, KD. I think out of all the teams, both East and West, who are in this knockout round of the in-season tournament, I think it's probably a little weird for the Suns because we haven't seen much of their big three be healthy, and they've been dealing with these injuries all year. I mean, it's still pretty incredible that they managed to snag a 4 seed here and make it to the knockout rounds of this tournament. But you wonder, outside looking in, it's how motivated, I'm sure the players are, I'm sure Durant is, but how motivated is just the Suns organization? Are they caring about the in-season tournament? They haven't seen much of this big three that they constructed over the summer, that that they made all these crazy moves to build the roster that we raved about in the offseason, and now they have to worry about super meaningful games in the beginning of December. I don't know. It's out of all the teams, I feel like they're kind of the outlier where they have, obviously all the teams in this have bigger aspirations at a championship, but I wonder if it's just a little weird for Suns fans and the organization as a whole, and maybe even some of the players who are dealing with or have dealt with these injuries this season. They're like, all right, are we going to kill ourselves for a couple of games here to win this tournament? Which I think they will. I think they'll, they're trying to stay motivated, but it is a little strange to think about it from that angle too, when you do have those certain types of situations like the Suns do.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be interesting to see who they run out for this first round matchup, because I tell you too, we know LeBron loves a legacy. LeBron
wants that NBA Cup.
He wants the first ever in-season tournament championship without a doubt. So that he's going to go all out for this. So I'm excited to see. I really do think we could have a game where LeBron and Kevin Durant each take 30+ shots.
Well, yeah,
It-
KD
I
is
hope
what
so.
he's top 5 in the league in scoring right now. Like KD
Yeah.
has been awesome and he's been efficient too. But the Lakers, like you're talking about the Suns and how they care about it. I feel like on the flip side, the Lakers need this because LeBron basically flamed their entire
Yes.
team after the loss on the Philly. He's like, I care about this. I care about these games. I don't know if the rest of the team does. And like when LeBron starts saying things like that, he's clearly not happy with the roster. But they've been able to produce in this in-season tournament situation. So like this is a team who's not in a good space really. Like they're not where they want to be. They're losing to the Thunder right now as we're doing this podcast. Like they've been on a little bit of a slump. So I feel like the Lakers are going to look at it as an opportunity to kind of get their season back on track by like if they win 3 games here, win this championship, like that might be a rallying point for them. But and on the Suns' point, like as you're saying, like what do they care about this game? They're just trying to get guys healthy, and they're clearly built for the playoff run and trying to be a title contender too. So it is like 2 kind of warring philosophies going against each other in the game on top of everything else. And the Staples Center is going to be nuts for this game with KD versus LeBron in this kind of situation too. So like the atmosphere is definitely going against the Suns in this situation too.
Yeah, man, it's crazy just like the drama we can have just from the first round here, just from the first couple of games, and even just from that one game that we were just talking about. It's so fun. It's so foreign. It's so new. I think that's part of the allure to it. But I'm so excited. Let's move over to the Eastern Conference. I do want to start with the Celtics and not for my usual reasons and my selfish reasons to talk about them. But I got to experience the in-season tournament in person the other night.
Oh yeah.
And it was, I don't know if it was the most chaotic or the game with the most drama, but I think that's what really got me pulled into this tournament because watching a team that going into the game knew the only way they were advancing was unless 3 other teams lost. I think they need the Nets, Cavs, and one other team to lose, all 3 of those teams. So they weren't going to rely on that. And they needed to win the game by 23 points. And they knew that going in. And they, 1, pulled it off. And 2, one of the craziest things I've ever seen in an NBA game, especially being at the game, they were doing hack a Drummond. So they were intentionally fouling Andre Drummond up 30 points.
Insane.
Up 30 points with 7 minutes to go. Drummond just missing free throw after free throw. The Jays, all our starters stayed in the entire fourth quarter down until like I think a minute and a half left. Up 30 points. It's just like you don't see this in the game. Was like still felt competitive because the Bulls were trying to at that point after what they did hacking Drummond. And JBC is in the comments here. Our listeners,
you're giving him nightmares right now. This back.
I'm sorry. It did seem messed up. Like even the players after the game were like, it felt unsportsmanlike. It felt like we were doing something wrong. And Mazzulla was like, we knew what we had to do. Process over results is what he kept saying. And actually, at one point, him and Billy Donovan, the coach of the Chicago Bulls, had to meet at half court, and Mazzulla had to explain to him like, look, we don't know if these 3 other teams are going to lose. So this is our strategy right now. Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Both coaches touched on it at the end of the game. And it's just like such a funny thing. It's so different from a normal regular season game in November, and the chaos and the drama and
but haven't you been there? Like,
perfect.
I'm sure maybe you've been in that situation in like a basketball tournament growing up. I know I've been in that situation with hockey tournaments. Like we go into like our last game of the tournament, and you're like, all right, you have to win this game 5-0 at least,
right?
To move on. And like we're winning that game 10-0. Like we're gonna make sure of it. You know what I mean? Like you just got to do what you got to do. You can't take any chances. You don't want to be like hanging around the point differential. So it's a big. And maybe it'll be something like that teams get used to going forward, but no one's going to be ever be happy about that either. Like you're not going to be happy when you're down by that much and then dealing with that shit. But like
I think
you got to understand
coaches getting upset, players getting upset. Like you have to understand like the situation here.
Yeah.
They're not like there's a reason behind it, right? That's why I get so annoyed when they're like, upset he made the shot. Like, you have to understand the situation here. And it's just one of those things where it's like, these teams are going to care. Like you said, Dunny, you said the Celtics Bulls game, the Kings Warriors. The Warriors had to win by 12 against the Kings to get in, and the Kings ended up winning that game because Draymond passed the ball out of bounds in a couple possessions in a row. But before that, it was like 3 minutes to go in the game. The Warriors were up, I think, 7 points. And Curry's sprinting. He's like, we got to get shots up quick. Like, we got to get guys open. We got to get shots up. It's like, my basketball brain had to adjust. I'm like, wait, the Warriors are up 7. Why? But they're playing the game like they're down 5.
Yeah.
And I thought that's really cool because that's kind of a side of basketball in the NBA you don't really see. You actually see the opposite of it in most regular season games, where once a team gets down, like, 10, 12 plus with under 4 minutes to go, they're like, all right, take the starters out. We're on a back-to-back. Take the starters out. We'll think about the next game. So to have that, into the tournament, I thought was an awesome idea with the point differential. And now, like I said, we get to see single elimination games. Like, there's no set game 2. There's no rest your guys. We come back here. You want to win this tournament. If you want
a trip to Vegas randomly in the season too.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If the Celtics are up, like, let's say 40 to like 24 at the end of the first quarter, I'll tell you what, Pacers starters are playing more than about 4 or 5 minutes in the second quarter like they normally do. Like, these teams are going to do what they can to win these games. And I like it because, like I said, at the start of the in-season tournament, everyone's like, oh, what's the point? Do the players even care? They're competitive. They're superstar athletes. They want to win this. And now that we got here, they're going to try to win this. Oh. And like you said, Dunny, when they were hacking Drummond, that was the best way for them to try to win that game. Like, you're going to do whatever you can. And it's crazy, right? Because you're up 20 plus. You're like, this just feels wrong, but it's not. This is what you got to do to get in here and win these games. And so I kind of liked it. It was refreshing almost for regular season basketball, being like, these teams are actually really caring about these games. And now we're going to see 4 games where it's do or die, and these teams are going to care.
Yeah, to just talk about the games a little bit here to preview them. If we're just talking from a big picture, that Kings Pelicans and Pacers Celtics are both going to be track meets. They're going to be Celtics first to 130 or something like that. Might be
150, 140.
Yeah, honestly.
Because the Pacers are going to want to play their style, and the Celtics will have no problem with that. We'll run.
The Celtics love shooting threes. Dunny, I don't know how you feel about this Celtics team this year shooting all their threes, but they remind me of like a college team. Like, I don't even know, like an old like 4 out 1 in team where they're just like, we're just gonna shoot 30 threes this game, and then Tatum's gonna do his stuff and Brown's gonna do his stuff, and we'll go from there. Because it's crazy to watch, but they're so damn good at it.
Yeah, they shot 49 3-pointers against the Bulls the other night. At 43% shooting too.
Yeah. It's worse. Like, that's the thing. You can't blame the Celtics for this strategy this year and the way that they've attacked teams, because you
got all the shooters,
and you have to leave space from the other shooters, because you can't leave Tatum and Brown 1-on-1. Like, you see what happens. So it's awesome to see.
You want to hear the best part of that?
Yeah.
49 of their 90 shots. JBC is telling me no again.
I'm so sorry, JBC.
Steve, you're getting hyped up here.
49 of the Celtics' 90 shots were threes. Guess how many threes the Bulls took?
Oh my God, 11.
9.
Oh, it's in the single digits.
No. They took 4 more. Sorry. They made 9 3-pointers. I'm sorry. They took 28, but they only made 9 with 28.
That's still they still doubled them.
Yeah, they still doubled up.
They still doubled them up. And the Bulls got some soul searching to do right now. Sorry, JVC, but the Bulls got some soul searching to do.
Yeah. No, but you're so right about the pace of play in this potential. Well, not potential. The potential pace of play in this Pacers Celtics game. It's going to be awesome. And then I think the pace of play is probably going to be the complete opposite for Bucks and Knicks. But that's going to be an absolute dogfight.
First to 80. It could be the Knicks are going to want to slow the game down as much as they want, man. Knicks games have been a tough watch this year. And it's It is just they shoot with 2 seconds left in the shot clock every possession.
Well, that's how Tibbs likes to play, man. He just
I know,
If
It's
there's
just,
a
I
team
can't
and
watch
fan
it.
base, we talk about
Yeah, I
LeBron
don't
wanting
like it
this.
either.
There's a team and fan base who wants this NBA Cup. Knicks fans and the Knicks want this shit. Like, you know that Knicks
Have
fans
something,
want that.
right?
It's something, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, you can say
they'll wrap up the season if they win it, dude. They don't care. They're like, what championship? We won in December.
Are you guys kind of surprised the Bucks pulled out this number 1 seed? Because the Bucks have, like,
I am.
they pulled
They're
it
wrapping
together a
their
little
shape
bit,
a
but
little
they're
bit.
just.
Yeah. Well, that was the
hasn't
thing,
been.
right? Like, we were like, oh, the Bucks were struggling, and then they were kind of like being a little inconsistent. And then I didn't even realize it. I look in the in-season tournament, it's like, yeah, the Bucks have the 1. I go, what? What do you mean the Bucks and the Lakers have the 1? But you're right. It's like, it's almost kind of like LeBron, Giannis, these mega superstars. They win when it matters. They're like, you know what? These games feel a little more important. We're gonna win these games, and the results show, right? Like, I mean, look at the mega stars in here. They kind of won. You have some exciting teams, you have some fun teams, but the 1 seeds are LeBron and Giannis. It's impressive.
Hey,
and then, I'm not saying my take was right, but the man who doesn't want to play extra basketball, Nikola Jokic, didn't want to go to Vegas. He didn't want to go to Vegas. The Nuggets would be in. The Nuggets could have been in here. They very easily could have. He's not trying to go to Vegas in the middle of the season. Jokic? Come on. No.
The Nuggets don't care about I know Murray was out for a little bit and everything, but I feel like he was out for a little bit longer than he needed to. Like, the Nuggets do not care about the regular
They
season
know they're
this year.
fine. They know they're one of the best
If
teams.
they're
in
the
the
4
NBA
or 5
when
seed,
they're all going.
who wants to play them in the playoffs? There's
Nobody.
No team that's
Not
gonna be
one
happy to
team.
play them.
It's also crazy to think about. Like, imagine.
I am too. I mean, I am too.
Especially because they're falling apart. Like I said, LeBron is pissed. He's done with his team already.
That's the thing, right? You'd like the Lakers don't look good. The Bucks are inconsistent, both 1 seeds. So it's like, all right, we'll see. But I'll tell you what, guys. Like, there are a couple scenarios I want to see for a championship here. It's not best for the ratings or whatever, but the basketball fan in me, I want to see Kings Pacers.
I'm with you, bro.
That could be 180 to 170. That's
one of my notes here, Steve. Like, I feel like this kind of has, we already touched on it. It kind of has AAU tournament vibes, and I just feel like this tournament was like made for teams like the Pacers and the Kings.
Yeah,
style of basketball they play, the type of players, and like just flashiness that they play with. It's the speed on both sides. I mean, like Fox and Halliburton going at it. And then just the fact that Halliburton went from the Kings to the Pacers and Sabonis. Oh man, yeah. I mean, I want the Celtics to win, obviously, but I can't say I would be displeased with that matchup. I would love it. I think any NBA fan would. It would. Oh my god, dude! The speed in that matchup would just be. Talk about being a little hard on the eyes, dude. Watching those guys fly up and down on a disgustingly colored.
It's just blurry like this the whole way.
Guys, what is the championship court gonna look like? We've seen what all these other courts look like.
It's gonna be like tie-dye or something, camo.
God.
I'm pretty sure at least the championship, the semis might be as well. Is supposed to be at a neutral site. So
they're in Vegas, but that's what I'm worried about. What's it gonna look like? What are they gonna make this new? Is it gonna be like black and gold?
What if the court's just a giant NBA logo and it's just red, white, and blue? It's just stretched out NBA logo. Jerry
it would be
West.
cool to see it on a neutral court, but it's going to give me a little bit of flashbacks to the bubble. There will be fans there, but I'll see. Yeah. I'll see the court. Be like, oh no.
Well, and what fans are going to who's if it's the Lakers and Celtics, it's going to be fans it'll be 50-50. That'd be a crazy sight to see. You know what I mean? Or Lakers, Knicks, or whatever else.
You think Lakers would have home court advantage? And
I think if the Lakers make it to Vegas, they'll have the most fans.
I think so too.
For sure, yeah. Because it's so close, but also just because Lakers fans are everywhere. But the Celtics would be second in my mind. Yeah. And then the Knicks,
I was gonna say,
third.
Don't sleep on the Celtics, dude. Jason Tatum gets MVP chance in just about every arena he plays in, which is insane.
That's what I mean. If it's a Lakers Celtics final, that crowd is going to be one of those special NBA atmospheres we'll ever see. Can you imagine college? It's like a college basketball atmosphere with the Lakers and the Celtics in the same like arena like that, it would be. That's my like. That's my. I've been picking Lakers Celtics for the finals and all this other stuff. Like if they can do an in-season tournament and have like it's the NBA's pick, I'm sure at this point too. But just imagine the atmosphere of what that would be like. Like, and I don't know what the atmosphere is going to be like for any of these games, but even like it's gonna just be. It's going to be interesting to see like how the fans turn out for these games and what kind of fans and what kind of like juice is going to be around. But it feels like it's just going to be loud, and that's like the best atmospheres you get for basketball games is when there's just noise the whole time.
I know it's gonna be March Madness like with NBA talent. It's like that's kind of the dream right there. Like single elimination, man. It's gonna be super fun. Who do you guys got? What are your picks for the finals? And then let's give a winner.
I'm going. I'll start. I'll go in Kings Celtics, and I think the Kings are going to win it.
Ooh.
I really think the Kings are going to take it.
Wow,
I like that. Steve,
I'm gonna go. I don't know why I'm saying this. I guess I'm gonna regret saying it, but I think the Lakers are gonna take down the Pacers. I think the Lakers take out the Pacers. LeBron add to the legacy, winning in season.
We should not underestimate
Anthony Davis and LeBron James are playing 48 minutes every night, and then Anthony Davis is going to be wheeled out. He's going to be wheeled out in a stretcher after these 3 games and be like, "You did your part." But LeBron and AD are they're just going to play 48 minutes.
We should not.
I think it's Lakers Pacers. I think Pacers pace is going to cause problems if they get by the Celtics. I think they're a good matchup. But I think Lakers over Pacers. It just feels like this is written for LeBron to win the first in-season tournament.
We can't underestimate LeBron's dedication to winning this. And just in a one-game scenario for LeBron, he is going to go nuts. He's going to go crazy. Kings, Bucks. I don't know what to make of the Bucks. That is my thing.
I know.
I don't know what to make of them at this point. They are so inconsistent. I know they've been good and they've gotten better.
Wait.
In the last
I gotta say this too.
Okay,
how about how like a month ago, how we were like, what the hell is wrong with Brook Lopez? Like, he's completely washed. The other night, 39 points.
I know, bro. I dropped him on my fantasy
he's had like 7 blocks, like in 3 of like the last like 6 games. It's like, oh well, he woke up, he figured it out.
I was cracking up. I saw
he's been unreal.
I saw the ESPN ticker going at the bottom of the screen. I had to double take, and I was like, "Oh my god, we awoken a beast in Brook Lopez." I think my pick for the finals in this is going to be Pelicans Knicks.
Ooh,
nah, I'm just kidding.
I was like, that is out there for Dunny. I was like, okay, I want to hear this explanation.
No, God, no. They're both getting bounced in the first round. It's gonna be Celtics Lakers, and I'm with you guys. I think if the Celtics don't win, I think it probably is gonna be Bron. Just like you said, Jake, him saying that the other night, I'm like, dude, he is doing everything he can to get this trophy.
Yes.
Also, this also just came to me. I meant to add in the news and notes, so I'm sorry for that. But Bronny James officially cleared for basketball today, so that's huge news if you're a James family fan or just a fan in general, because it's was a long journey for him coming back from the heart recovery. So maybe Bron's playing for Bronny as well. But yeah, I think for Adam Silver's sake, for my sake, Celtics Lakers,
it literally
this thing would be chef's kiss.
They couldn't have imagined a better scenario if that's how it comes up. If that's
Adam Silver's going to start wearing a crown around if that's the finals match.
Can you imagine the ratings on a Saturday night when nothing else is going on and it's Lakers Celtics in Vegas and you see the crowd shots before the game of all the green and yellow just mixed together? Like, it's going to be awesome if that's the case.
Adam Silver would call up Roger Goodell and be like, you fucking seeing this shit, dude?
Either way,
I'll tell you what, too.
Go ahead.
You have the first games are on December 4th. That's Monday Night Football. Who's watching Bengals Jaguars over the Celtics Pacers and the Kings Pelicans? I'm not. In a single elimination game? Nah. They're going to blow them out. Blow them out of the water.
I will not be watching Jake Browning over
no shot.
Either of those games. There's no way.
I really think the ratings for these are going to be great. I really truly do.
You got to watch the refereeing being very fishy once we get to that West semifinal, whether it's the Lakers and Suns against either the Kings or the Pelicans, because you know what that league is going to want. You know exactly what they need there, like a Sun Durant or Bucks and Lakers from Eric.
I don't hate that either.
If it's Giannis and LeBron too, they ain't gonna be mad about that too. You know,
I gotta shout out Eric. That is a bold take, taking both 1 seeds. Gotta shout out Eric for that one.
Super bold. I mean, also very possible, but yeah. I don't know.
Who is the least likely team? I feel like that we all are on the Knicks being the least likely team to win this.
I think Dunny said it. Knicks, Pelicans. I would be like, oh.
Yeah, I don't know. Some like I said at the top too, and I don't know if I'm just like having weird feeling about the Suns, but I don't know. I can't see one because of how motivated LeBron is, so it's going to be tough for them to get by him.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if the Suns care about this, and that's just kind of a hunch I have more than stuff I've seen. But I mean, I think that they have a better chance of the Pels than the Knicks too. But I'm definitely excited about the teams that we've been spending the most time on here. Pacers. If it, like I said too, and Steve brought it up, if it ends up being Pacers Kings, I will not be upset at all. There's quite a few combinations where I won't be mad here.
Even Pacers Pelicans, like the Pelicans.
Yeah, I was going to say Pelicans will still be fun. I just don't want to see the Knicks. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to see the Knicks.
Yeah. I think Matt L here is saying he's probably watching Monday Night Football. It's Jake Browning on Monday Night Football.
Yeah. Against the Jags defense. The Jags defense is good.
You could be watching the Pacers and Celtics put up 300 total points.
That game will be like 85-80 at halftime, and you'll check it and be like, "Oh,
and same with the Kings and Pelicans."
That's what I'm saying. You're gonna have 2 just track meets for the first night.
That's what I'm saying. And then Bengals Jags is gonna be like 16-13. And
you're being generous. You're being generous.
Jake crazy. Browning tired. Jaylen Brown wired.
Exactly. There we go.
But yeah, the tournament should be great. It's
and this is a great point here too. Like this is a spotlight on all the great talent, especially when we're talking about the Pacers. Tatum and Brown get a lot of attention, but obviously them, the Kings and Pelicans, that game hopefully gets like huge attention too. And then you get a classic matchup like LeBron and KD, and a thing that we've what was it? It was the first time when they played a couple weeks ago. It was the first time they had played against each other in a regular season game since like 2018. And now we get this matchup.
I know. And they're both playing pretty well, too. They're both drinking from the fountain of youth, that's for sure. And they're both playing unbelievable.
KD, I mean, we talked about how Bron is carrying the Lakers and what he's been doing. Like, KD has just been unreal. It's been amazing to see. Like, the shot making is just – he's been on another level this year, man. It's been crazy, and just can't wait to see them at full health and with that team, because they may just be unstoppable. But it's going to be fun. Monday and Tuesday are going to be great, and then we get some great weekend games going into it too. It's going to be a hell of a time.
Yeah, and NBA, good job with the in-season tournament. That is my final thought on it. It took some getting used to for sure, but that's with anything new. And you hear the players talking about it too. Whether it's the point differential stuff or just like not trying to disrespect the opponent, but like we talked about at the top, like just it gets everyone talking about the NBA in a bunch of different ways. Like some of the comments are saying, we get to see the best young players in the league on display in some of these games. We get to see some of the best players to ever play the game in some of these games. Yeah.
It's a great mix.
Yeah, of everything. And then neutral site, like it's just it's awesome. I can't wait for next week. Yeah. And
that's what I'm most excited for, is the atmosphere. Like because we just haven't seen what it looks like before. And I'm sure it's going to be like NBA. It's going to be like NBA fans just all descending on there, whether they're fans of the team or just people that just want to go to Vegas and watch 3 NBA games over the weekend too.
Yeah.
And I think for the players, it's almost going to feel like they're back in a tournament when they were in like high school again, when they get to Vegas and then it's like, neutral site with these other teams here. It's like best of the best competing against each other. It's just I think it's going to be an awesome experience for them as well. I really I'm excited for the single elimination format. I think that is going to make these NBA games unlike really any other regular season NBA games we've ever seen.
I agree. There's definitely with Eric here. There's definitely a few things that they can change in the next couple of years, and that's why this is the first year. They're going to be working out some, but definitely a win, like a huge dub for the league. Like just the interest that it's garnered with whether it's making fun of the courts or just paying more attention, and just the competitiveness of these games in the month of November, and then we're going to be at Christmas, and that's basically like for a lot of people the NBA official start of the season for a lot of people, and then all these guys have been in like competitive mode as it is. So it's been great. I can't wait to see this thing going forward for years and years to come.
It's amazing, man. It's a great time to be an NBA fan. And Jake, like you were saying, Tuesdays kind of suck, and we get to watch this greatness next Tuesday. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. That was our knockout round of the in-season tournament breakdown. I'm sure, we get to recap it all next week, and you guys can lock in as we talk about what we saw, and there will be a crown champion, and I'll be smiling ear to ear because it will be the Boston Celtics.
Oh,
I really need a Celtics league. I need it.
Oh my God,
more than anything. So I need it. Would be. I can't even imagine what it would be like, the atmosphere of a neutral site Celtics Lakers NBA Cup.
Insane
game.
That'd be insane. You couldn't write a better script, like I said. You could not write a better script.
Yeah,
so and NBA, good job on your script.
Yes, great job. Good job, Adam Silver, whose ever idea the in-season tournament was. I'm officially loving it. Officially loving the in-season tournament. That's going to do it for Happy Hour Hoops. Follow us everywhere at Happy Hour Hoops 1. Follow Trainwreck Sports. Enjoy the NBA tonight. Enjoy the NBA going forward. Enjoy the in-season tournament games and the knockout rounds. We will see you guys next week. For Jake, Steve, and myself. Later, guys.